such an honor to be with you today. Thank you so much for sticking and staying around. It's been worthwhile. It's been worthwhile with you on this journey, and I'm super delighted that you're part and always part of this program. In case this is your first time on coming here, I like to celebrate you on this space. Everybody is somebody, and I cannot be here if you are not there. Thank you for being a part of this family. We've been looking at a topic and considering some things that are vital in the success of our relationship, and we've been considering a whole lot, talking about the Why Love Dies series, and it's been such a wonderful time. I encourage you to go check out the videos and put them into practice. Consider the things that have been happening in your relationship, and if they are some signs you've seen, I think it will be worthwhile if you take your time, pray about it, seek counsel, and in case you need a counselor, do not hesitate to reach out for us to talk heart to heart and pray together and see that your relationship works, because I am here to make sure that your relationship works, and it is a heaven and earth experience, just as God had intended it to be. So today we're looking at just a few things that talks about the predictor of divorce. Is something that is very huge. It's been a part of the series we've been running on Why Love Dies. 4 horsemen, which are always at the lookout, always looking for the opportunity to destroy our relationships, and we consider them as contempt, defensiveness, the flat out contempt, and all forms of criticism that aims at that targets somebody's personality and all of that. And we looked intently into the things these things, and we discover that they are the 4 horsemen that if we do not attend to them very quickly, they'll leave our relationship into the life support camp. And you remember we also dealt with the issue on the life support, love on life support. We've done all of those. I encourage you to go ahead and check out those. So if you look at the word, that 4 horsemen to goatman, you discover that it's actually a term that was gotten from the Bible, where the scripture was talking about the end time, the world, and all forms of things, hunger, and so many things that comes, as the agents that herald the end of the time. And in relationship, they are considered as the 4 horsemen, which are the things we've talked about already: defensiveness, contempt, withdrawal, that form of stone walls, and all forms of things that aim at destroying the walls and the fabrics of relationship or marriage, and then leads the love into the state of coma, where we talked about it entering into the coma state and then being on life support. So today I'd like to talk about something that is a serious indicator, and of all these 4 horsemen, you discover that contempt is one that stands out very seriously, very firmly, that if attention is not given to it, can actually end any form of relationship, no matter what it is. So each time we talk about contempt, people tend to confuse it with criticism and defensiveness. No, contempt is quite different from criticism or defensiveness. It's on a deeper side. It gets to a point. Contempt is seen as a state where you've lost all forms of respect for something or someone to the level that you feel this deep disgust. You don't feel like staying around that person. Everything the person does or has to do with the relationship, there's this level of resentment, there's this level of this deep level of anger, of hatred, of you just want to be out. You just don't want anything to have anything to do with such a person. It is contempt. It's so deep. It's like cancer that eats into the fabric of any relationship or marriage at all. And sometimes it starts out in a form that you may not really give attention to, and you may not even know when it started or how it crept into your relationship. But most of the times you discover that contempt creeps into relationships, as a result of certain things like, lying, lack of trust or loss of trust as a result of cheating. When you're found to have cheated on your partner or someone you're in a relationship with, and they discover it can go a long way to begin to breed contempt, to the point that they will lose all forms of respect and regard for your person. And then you also discover that in the aspect of lie telling, it can kill the trust. Yes, it can kill trust. I think I like to say that I am one of the example. I remember while we were in a relationship, we had some issues, and my husband, then husband to be, fiance, was coming to see me. He came all the way from Abuja to come and visit me in Benue, where I was then. And then he got to my house, and I attended this program that he was not really comfortable with me attending, the being a part of that ministry as at that time. And I felt it was something I loved to do, and so I went ahead to do it. And so when he called me, we had closed as at that time, and then he said, "Where are you?" I said, "I am at home." It sounds something very small, as if it wasn't necessary, it was not something serious, because of course I had closed from the program and I was on my way home, and I never knew he was in town. And so when he called to ask where I was, I said I was at home. He said, "Okay." And then he called again. I couldn't get bike on time to get to my house, and then he called again. He was like, "Where are you? Are you sure you're home?" I said, "Yes, I'm home." I became suspicious of him being, calling to ask where I was, and then I thought, okay, maybe he might be in town, and I was like, "Where are you?" And he said, "I'm asking you where you are." So I was like, I'm at home, but I'm just around the house. I'm close to the house. Are you in my house? And all of that. Do you know that by the time I got home, I discovered that he actually came to my house and had left, having waited for a while, and I wasn't home, and I kept telling him I was home. It's made him to begin to think. He withdrew to himself, and he was like, "Who is this person? Is she really a true Christian? Is she a sincere person? Does she lie?" And all of that. And then I had to, when I discovered that, he actually came around, and I had to begin to explain. I had to tell him the whole truth, and how I actually went to where he never wanted me to go. And my reason was because it was a program I felt it was, their vision aligned with what I felt God was calling me into doing, and I wanted to be part of that, to grow myself and a few other things. But he didn't see it from that light, and he didn't want me to be part of it. But then I had to lie about my being at home, and also to say I was at home. I felt like, okay, I had closed. Even if he was in town, before he gets to my house, I would have been home, because it was within the same locality. We're living in GRA, and he was coming from another part of the town. So before he could even drive down to my house, I would have been home already, but I couldn't get bike on time to get to my ride. So it doesn't really matter what the justification was. The truth is, I lied. Yes. And you may be saying that is just something very small, but of a truth, it can destroy your trust. It can destroy your relationship. It can make the person not to believe you, to begin to doubt you. And when there is doubt and belief, it begins to breed contempt. If the person has high esteem, high regards for you, they will no longer, it begins to diminish. Why? Because they feel whatever you say is not true. There is something behind. There's always an undertone behind what you say. So contempt starts gradually, and it starts from, it's an incident. Yes, It starts from an incident. But if you don't take good care to check very well, where did this start from, it can lead to problems. Sometimes in marriage relationship, discover that your spouse tells you what is wrong with them, or when they begin to feel free, begin to relax with you and begin to talk to you about the things that is happening or that has happened in their background, their family while they were growing up, and issues with their parents, issues with siblings, rivalry and all of that. And if care is not taken and you have little misunderstanding or something, or there is an issue somewhere, you don't need to make reference to those things. So each time you make reference to what they told you in confidence, it breeds contempt. There's this level of withdrawal. There's this level of, before you know, it begins to build up into, cold walls that make them to begin to develop lack of respect for your person. They begin to feel like you're not trustworthy. They can't trust you. They can't keep their confidence with you because it is not safe. And then they begin to look outside, look at somewhere else. Is it possible for me to get what I'm looking for, what is lacking in this relationship elsewhere? I need you to understand that contempt is an indicator, a predictor of divorce. And that's why when it is found in a relationship and attention is not given to it, even if it is in a marriage, it can lead to divorce. So look into your marriage relationship today, look into your home today, look into the relationship you have with your spouse or with that person you intend to get married to. You discover that many people, when they are in a relationship, before you know, the other person say, I'm no longer interested, and there's this coldness, this withdrawal, and before you know, they tell you, I'm no longer interested, I want to think more, I want to pray more, I think we just keep this relationship at an arm's length. And before you know what is happening, everything had come to an end or to a stop. Why? Because there was contempt crept into the relationship. Once contempt crept into your relationship and you don't do anything to help, restore what had been there, it will kill the relationship, bring it to an end, or even destroy your marriage, lead to divorce, separation, and so many other things. I'd like us to stop here today, but do not forget that next week I'll be bringing your way what to do to deal with contempt in relationship. There are so many things you can do scripturally, through therapy and other things that you can do to deal with contempt. I'm sure you would not want to miss that, having known that there is a solution, because there is no way that there is no solution to contempt. It only gets worse and leads to divorce or separation where you don't give attention to deal with it. But God's plan for us is to see how we can have the best of our marriage relationships and all that He has in mind for us. Do not forget that on this space you're loved, you're valued, and that I personally celebrate you so much. Thank you for being around today, and please do not forget to subscribe, share this video with somebody in the family, share it in a group, and let us grow together. I love you.